we're going to now take some of this apart to show you how you can thin this out. Why can you only heat this up to 20 times? What happens after that 20th time? Okay, you ready?
Yes.
We want to take some off here. So I'm just going to pull. What are the teeth made of, and will these melt when you put them in boiling water? I do have to say this. Somebody, all they want for Christmas is their two front teeth. Hi, Dr. Otero. Welcome back. This is the inventor and the maker of Easy Denture, and I'd like to welcome you back today.
Well, good morning, Michelle. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Good morning to you. What we're going to do is go over some questions that Dr. Otero has gotten in the comments from our last videos. So maybe we can explain this process a little easier. How about if we just start out with the question, can you use these dentures with dry mouth?
Easy Denture is just like any other denture out there. Once you size your Easy Denture, you're going to treat it just like any other denture. Okay. Can you use Easy Denture with dry mouth? The answer to the question is yes. But dry mouth just makes it more difficult for denture wear. I guess the best way I try to describe it to my patients is when you're wearing a denture, especially the upper, you got to think of it almost like a suction cup going against a bathroom wall, right? Like take a suction cup, you're sticking it against a glass. You want that suction cup to be wet, and that's what forms that adhesion, that suction, right? As a dry mouth wear, you don't have all that saliva to keep that moisture in there, to keep that suction cup in place. So it just makes it more difficult to be a denture wearer when you're dealing with dry mouth. But sometimes you have no option. So if that's the case, I advise my patients you're just going to use more adhesive to try to keep that seal, to try to keep that suction. And I also like that when they add the adhesive in there, especially if you have dry mouth, do it with some water. So you have a little bit of water in your mouth and wet the denture down really well before you put it in to get that initial suction.
I have dry mouth very bad. That's why I lost all my teeth. I didn't have the saliva washing around my teeth, and it was due to medication I was taking. And I can wear the Easy Denture without a problem. Now, what exactly is the Easy Denture? Real quick, if you can go over it. And I'm going to put some footage up here of us in our last video making it, if you want to just talk about it real quick.
So Easy Denture, it's a high impact denture. Basically, it's a boil and bite denture. So what I did when I designed Easy Denture is basically I took some of the best designs from every high-end cosmetic denture that I've ever made out there, put it all together in one, and I made it thermoplastic. So basically, I made the denture where I could put it in hot water, and then once it's in hot water, it activates, and you're able to flex and change the shape of the denture. And Michelle, you'll be able to show that with videos on how the denture really moves. Literally, every part of this denture moves. The teeth move, the base moves. Got a portion that's very stretchy to adapt to all the gum tissue that you can remove yourself when it's heated. Turns into like a bubble gum, and then you put it back in place wherever you want it to displace the material. But I just made Easy Denture to be as intuitive as possible and something that can be fit by anybody at home. So put it in hot water, it adjusts, and then once it hardens, once it gets back to a temperature below that activated boiling temp, it becomes a full denture again without any problems, like fully functional, won't change shape again until you put it back in boiling water. That's what Easy Denture is. Easy Denture is the easiest denture you can get made out there, all in one step. It's a true one-step denture.
But you can drink hot coffee with this. It will not affect the Easy Denture. Hot chocolate, hot soup, hot foods, you can do that. It will not affect your Easy Denture. Why is that? What is the boiling point of the Easy Denture?
Okay, so in order to activate our thermoplastic materials, the thermoplastic resin that makes Easy Denture really work, has to be sitting in boiling water, which is 212 degrees Fahrenheit, for about 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds. You cannot put boiling water in your mouth for 15 or 20 seconds. If it touches boiling water for a second, it's not going to do anything. It takes a little while for it to really heat up and activate and get to that thermoplastic state. So once the Easy Denture is set, you're not going to change the form of it again until you expose it to that really warm condition, a really hot condition for a long period of time.
Now, the teeth on here, what are the teeth made of, and will these melt when you put them in boiling water?
They will not, but they can adapt. You can change the shape of the teeth. Yeah, you can change the positioning of the teeth. You're not going to change the shape of the teeth. The teeth are not going to change shape and all of a sudden like turn in and out, but you can change the positioning by adjusting the denture to put it where you need to be. The teeth are made out of a high impact denture resin, just like any other denture teeth that you currently have in the denture market. However, ours are thermoplastic and that way we're able to adjust the positioning.
What about staining? Will these stain just like the regular denture teeth will?
So easy denture is going to be just like a traditional denture. I really, with the exception of how easy it is to fit and how quickly it fits, and that moment where the easy denture is thermoplastic, where you're able to get everything to fit and move and adjust to your mouth. Beyond that, easy denture is just like any other denture.
And all you have to do is put it in cleaner. Like I like the Polydent smokers if for a smoker, or remove stains pretty good. You also have a tablet cleaner that you put in here just to start somebody off.
Yes, and we have ultrasonic cleaners for it as well. And it's just those are great to keep staying off and use that at least on a weekly basis to keep things going there, but just you treat it just like you would any traditional denture.
Do you still have to wear adhesive with these?
Yes, just like any traditional denture, I do recommend using adhesive. I think patients really like the fit of their easy denture much better when they're wearing adhesive, and almost like they like the fit of any traditional denture when they're wearing adhesive.
Well, and here's the thing with the easy denture and the adhesive, because you could mold these to your mouth, you can get the denture to fit really well, which means you don't need to use that much adhesive. So what I like to do is put it like a dab in the middle and then take a wet Q-tip and then just spread it all over the surface of the denture very thin so you don't have it gobby in your mouth. So for people that don't like to wear adhesive, that's a better way to do it so you don't have to use it. And when your denture is fitting better, you don't have to use as much adhesive ever with any denture. So why can you only heat this up to 20 times? What happens after that 20th time?
You could heat it more if you wanted to after the 20. It's just, it doesn't fully degrade. It doesn't do any of that. It's just to give you the idea of the hope, like, hey, you have at least 20 times to get this right. So
you could probably heat it up more if you needed to.
You could, but you should never have to.
So if somebody would want to wear this as a permanent denture, could they do that?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
And then that would give you a longer time wearing it. I mean, if you wear this as a permanent denture and only have to refit it once or twice a year, because your gums still are going to shrink. I know some people don't understand. They think after that year, that's all their gums are going to shrink. That's the time span that they're shrinking the fastest. After that, they're still going to shrink, but it's going to be at a slower rate. So you can wear this as a permanent denture if you wanted to.
Yes, you completely can. And instead of having to do relines, and Michelle, I think you explained it great. That was a great thing to say there. What a lot of patients don't realize is that every day, as soon as your teeth come out, every single day after that, your bone has no reason to hang around. So it goes through what's called atrophy, where the bone literally melts away. And through the years, patients that have been traditional denture wearers forever, they know, hey, I've got to get my denture relined every year, every 2 years, get a reline done in there so it fits tighter because the denture starts to get loose. Now, a lot of people have the conception thinking my denture is getting loose because resin's coming out of it or something's wearing away on the inside of the denture. That's not the case. What's happening is that the bone is literally melting away. So you have less bone every year, and that's why your denture just don't fit as tight anymore. And you have to get those relines done. But with easy denture, you could throw it back in hot water, refit it, and then get that custom reline right there. That's for significantly less than the cost of a denture chair side reline done in the dental practice. So you could get a whole easy denture, a whole new denture for less than the cost of a reline.
Well, and plus that dentist might want to do a hard reline and then take your dentures for a day or two.
This is true. Whenever you do those relines, if they're not able to do a chair side, which most dental practices are not able to, it's going back to a lab. And then so you are without your teeth for sometimes 2 or 3 days, sometimes a week or two, depending on how that particular dental practice works and the location of their laboratory.
I've gotten some questions about people with bony growths in their mouth. Will this work with a bony growth?
Absolutely. So the bony growth, we call it tori. It's normal for some people. Some people, if you have some areas of bony growth, you should definitely go into your dentist to evaluate it just to make sure it's something that is normal. But if you have a bony growth area, yes. So a lot of dentures don't work well for patients with bony growth because you're making the denture on a stone model at a laboratory, right? With Easy Denture, you're fitting it into your mouth directly. So you're able to kind of work around the bony growth and make sure it's not capturing around the bony growth, and you're able to fit it on top and remove it while it's still in that hardening phase, not fully harden it, and remove it, take it in and out to make sure it's not scraping against that growth and cutting your undercuts. So the undercuts are the parts that kind of go underneath.
What about if somebody would have teeth, 1 or 2 teeth left? Can you fit this around 1 or 2 teeth?
You cannot fit it around 1 or 2 teeth. Now, if your teeth are broken off to the gum line, all the way down to the gum line, you can. But if you have teeth sticking up above the gum, you cannot fit Easy Denture around those teeth. You do run the risk of Easy Denture actually getting stuck on those teeth. So you do not want to do that at all. So Easy Denture, we say very clearly in our instructions for use, you must be missing all of your teeth in that arch. So you can have as many teeth as you want on the other side, but if you're using an upper Easy Denture, you have to be missing all of your teeth up top, basically vice versa. So if you have a full set of teeth up top and you're missing all the teeth on the bottom, then you can wear a lower Easy Denture. But you have to be missing all the teeth on that particular arch in order to wear that denture.
So in our last video, you used some dentistry terms.
Yes. Okay.
Can you explain what a vestibule is?
Okay, so the vestibule is the area that goes really high up around your gums. If you run your finger on the inside of your mouth, above your teeth, and up there, that whole area up top is considered the vestibule, the area where the dentures extend. The biggest extension there, that's called your vestibular extension or the vestibule. So that's on the top or the bottom. Where the denture extends around your lip area there, that's considered your vestibule.
Okay. So can you explain what an occlusion is?
So occlusion is how your teeth come together, how the top teeth hit into the lower teeth. That's the occlusion, where the teeth are hitting and how they come together. And I think in that video I was explaining, hey, Michelle, you want to bring the upper teeth out a little bit more, or the lower teeth out a little bit more to line up the bite or the occlusion. And then when you widen the arch, then the molars came together better. That's where the occlusion, that's what I'm talking about, how the teeth come together.
So here I'm going to show you a picture and you could talk. This is the picture that I sent you.
Yes. So okay, how those come together, how the teeth line up, that's considered the occlusion. Now with Easy Denture, once you heat it, that occlusion can be manipulated. So you can make the occlusion wider or more narrow, depending on how your bite is, how your mouth anatomy is, and where your arch lines up. So you can manipulate that. So that's something that you have to be aware of and try to line that up whenever you're fitting it in your mouth.
And it's not a hard thing to do.
No.
It really isn't, because once you start with the upper and they get the lower, and the occlusion kind of sets itself, doesn't it?
It does. So once it starts to line up and you bite on it gently, you don't want to bite on it hard. So hold the occlusion. Once you start getting that in place, it really does set itself up.
What happens if you don't have a lot of gum on the lower ridge?
Okay, so if you're missing a lot of bone down on the bottom, it's going to make it very difficult to wear a lower denture. The reason being is you've got this little horseshoe of a ridge on the bottom. You've got this massive muscle in the middle of your mouth on the lower, and that's where your tongue is, right? And every time your tongue lifts, it can lift the denture if you don't have a ridge for support. And also the cheeks on the side as you're eating and chewing and speaking, it's just going to lift the lower denture. I do recommend for my patients that are missing a ridge, try every way you can to get some implants. Whether it's mini implants for stabilization, to help to keep the denture in place, or full-size implants to really lock it into place. There's a lot of implant options. But once you get to the point where you're missing that bony ridge on the bottom, it does make it difficult to wear a denture. You're going to really have to load up with the adhesive. You'll have to trim the Easy Denture back as much as possible so it doesn't extend down too far into those vestibules that we just discussed. And and then that will try to reduce the amount of lifting that you're getting from the muscles, from your tongue lifting it, or from the cheeks lifting it. So just try to trim down the denture a bit, and do what you can to save the dollars to get some dental implants. And they could place a few implants in the front to help stabilize the denture. You could even use the Easy Denture to get stabilized over.
I was going to say, you fit this over implants in your practice, don't you? In the beginning stages of the implants?
Yes, we do. It's a great temporary over implant, so patients can leave with teeth right away and be able to smile, and it works really well for that.
Right. So if somebody has implants already and their dentures just aren't fitting or lining up or anything, and they want to buy the Easy Denture either to replace what they have, their snap-in denture, or for just a replacement denture, they could do that, right?
They could do that, correct. They could use Easy Denture over the top. You just want to make sure when you're sizing the Easy Denture in place, it doesn't fully harden over the implants. You want to make sure that you're taking it in and out over during that setting phase.
We're going to now take some of this apart to show you how you can thin this out. So I'm going to get my water ready over here and we can get going. People might think it's too thick on the top up here. What can be done with that? And I'm going to put this in here for a little bit, and we'll let this heat up so people can see what we're going to do.
We'll show you how to do that. So basically, my recommendation, what I have patients do is remove our NuvaFlex stretch material, which is the material that gets really stretchy on the outside. And you'll see it. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you start to play with the denture. But you can remove as much of it as you want. It's just like bubble gum when it's heated up. And then if you feel like you took too much away after you sized it in your mouth, heat it again and put it right back. You put what you want back. So, Michelle, if you want to show them how you can really just pull it away. Because I describe this to patients often. It's like, no, you could grab the material and pull it off and remove it there. Or you can even use scissors and kind of trim it back if you need to as well.
Can you use a Dremel on this?
You can use a Dremel. You want to use the Dremel after the denture is fully set back, and you want to go very slow with the Dremel. The reason why I say that is because the heat from the Dremel, whenever you're trimming something away with the Dremel, it brings a lot of heat to it, and that heat will kind of gunk up the Dremel a little bit because you're softening the material and it's going to get stuck in your Dremel. So you just want to go slowly with it to not get a lot of friction and a lot of heat on the denture, and then you should be able to trim it. If you're trying to trim it really fast and aggressively and putting a lot of pressure on there, that friction is going to cause the denture to heat up a little bit, and it will cause the material to get stuck on your Dremel tool.
So what I have done for me, because I've tried both. I have a Dremel here and I've tried my little scissors. For me, it's easier to just kind of dip the end in where I want to cut off, heat that up a little bit, and then just get a little pair of scissors and snip it off.
I'm in agreement with you. That's just the best way to do it, for sure.
Yeah, then I don't get anything gunked. It's just a lot easier to do that. I think we're ready here. So I am going to set this down and then take it out, and then we can start pulling apart this and so show everybody. So here's me. Okay, I'm just going to set it down here until it cools enough that I could touch it.
Okay, sounds good. And this is for demonstration purposes. Michelle has not followed any instructions for the 60 seconds boiling and this and this. We're just showing you kind of how to take it, where you can take it apart and remove remove the material where you need to.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
We want to take some off here, so I'm just going to pull, and then I could get my scissors and just cut that off, or just pull it off. Let me grab my scissors. Now, can you horseshoe this at this stage if you wanted to?
This is the stage to horseshoe it if you want to. So basically, some patients like to not have any material on the roof of their mouth if they're bad gaggers, and you can go ahead and trim some of that back if you want to.
See, I can pull it off the sides if I wanted to. I could pull it out the middle.
So you could take the material, you could take the NuvaFlex stretch to soften material off as much as you need to. And
so
if you take too much away, you can heat it back up, throw it back in the boiling water for about 10 or 15 seconds, and then it gets soft and you can stick it back to wherever you want to.
Okay, I just put it right back in the hot water For
Okay.
now, let's just try to stick it back on there.
Okay.
But you can, I can even pull here. You could, wherever this material is.
Wherever the NuvaFlex stretch is, you can remove it to thin it out as much as you need to get the denture to fit up as tight as you want to against the gum tissue.
Okay, here it was back in the water, and it's gushy again. So then, hey, I think I took too much off here, so I just put it right back.
And you can just stick it back to where you need to. And then once you get it back in place, you can just drop the whole denture back in hot water again and just remanipulate it and reset it.
Even, you know, even if you think you have small vestibule, the flanges, the sides of the denture is called the flanges that go up into the vestibule, you can tear that off. I would not recommend doing that until you tried fitting it first, though.
Yes. Put it in and then manipulate it around your lips like this. And then you can, you know, put it back in hot water. Put it back in hot water if you don't like how that's fitting, or if it's too thick or too much material there. And then do exactly as Michelle just recommended. Just tear some off, you know, lift it up, trim it away. And if you took too much off, no big deal. Back in hot water, do it again.
You can't mess this up.
No,
it's
easy.
See, and basically all you're doing is smushing this into your mouth. That's basically all that you're doing.
Pretty much.
So
the same way we would be doing with the dental impression. You're just putting it in your mouth, letting it adapt around your mouth, and all of that fits into nicely.
So watch what he meant by pulling the teeth apart. See, I could pull that. It might not be warm enough.
No, it's got to be warm enough to do it. So
yeah.
In order to really manipulate the occlusion and the denture part, you have to follow the full, 60 seconds in boiling water to activate the material where it gets soft enough to move it around.
I do have a short doing that. It's back in the hot water, so I can do that here. But here's another piece, this is now the dry piece that I cut off of the denture. I can plop that right back in the water. In fact, I will. And it'll melt again. So you can
put it. At that point, it turns like a bubble gum, and you can just shape it how you want to and stick it back where you need to.
Okay, let's see if I might need to heat this water up a little bit.
That's the thing. So Michelle is working with water that was in the microwave. But typically you'd be working with much hotter water, boiling water, and it would be much easier to move the denture.
Yeah. See how I moved that out?
That became very wide. The teeth part became very wide, and if you want to narrow it, you can do that too, just by squeezing it.
Push it right back in. Oh, I should be doing this side. I could push it right back in.
And then that's where the occlusion, that's where the teeth line up.
Take it out a little bit. In the video that we did last fitting this, I had to pull this out a little bit because my lowers weren't lining up with my uppers. Remember doing that? Me pulling it out. I'm going to stick, oh, wait a minute. Let me get this out. This is the piece that I put in there, the dry piece. So there it is.
You can just stick that anywhere you want.
Can you horseshoe this denture if you wanted to, or make it a half moon? And I'm going to do a half moon demonstration here.
There's some patients that have such a bad gag reflex that they really can't tolerate anything on the roof of their mouth at all. Mm-hmm. Anytime you reduce any of that extension up on the roof of the mouth, you're reducing retention. So you can do it, but you are going to lose retention as you go along with it. For the design of the Easy Denture, we do have it where you can trim back some of the material, but not do a full horseshoe. And if you do a full horseshoe, you're going to mess with the integrity of the denture itself, but it can be done. Just like with any denture, if you take that area out, they can use scissors and cut that area out. You're just not going to be able to add that material back once you do it.
Once you cut it all out.
Once you cut it all out on a full horseshoe. If you do the half moon, like what you're going to describe right now, you can add material back to that spot.
When you do a horseshoe, when you horseshoe a denture, you always have to wear adhesive, and you can't ever get that palate back, and you'll never have the suction to work on like you do with a traditional denture with a palate in it.
Correct. I mean, and that's exactly why you lose that suction. So when you lose that anatomy or that contour on the roof of your mouth, that suction's gone, and you have to always wear adhesive. But for patients that are gaggers, they have no other option.
Yeah, because some people don't understand why, But there's a line back there. If you feel in the roof of your mouth all the way to the back, right where that bone ends into the soft palate, that's where your denture needs to sit, right at the edge of that bone.
It's called the vibrating line. It's exactly, Michelle, you're so good at this. It's a hard palate, soft palate where they connect. It's called the vibrating line.
I'm a retired bus driver that's done a heck of a lot of research on this, you know. So, all right, here's my denture. And what do we mean by a half moon? It's just kind of, instead of having your denture go straight across like that, you can kind of push this up without taking any of the material off and fit it in kind of like this, and even like maybe take that in. I didn't take any of the material off, but that takes away from that line, but you're not going to ruin this denture.
Right.
Because
now, if that feels too thick, then you can pull the material off and then you could add back to it later.
Right. So, you know, if you want to, just take some of that off of there and even kind of form it the way you think you want it.
And then get it in your mouth, and if it feels right to you, it feels right to you.
Perfect. But then if it doesn't, you can like stick the end, like maybe this side you want to take off a little more, just stick this in there and then tear some of that off. But save this. I would save this. Don't throw this away while you're doing this, or wait until you wear this and see if you like it, because even in a week you can heat this back up. Correct?
That's right. Correct. You can. It's ready to go. So definitely keep it around. You could add and remove as you need to. And Michelle, that's great. Just try it out for a few days, because then you'll be like, okay, it's a little high spot here, or I wish I had a little bit more here. And you have it with you.
Or as your gums are shrinking, you might need this to go back in here. So if you take something off this denture, save it. That would be my suggestion. You know, but I mean, I think I did kind of a decent job.
No, exactly. That shows an ideal it shows a half moon example right there on how to do that to get some of the material off your palate. But that does affect retention. But it will do what you need to do to reduce gagging on patients that are severe gaggers.
And you're definitely going to need adhesive if you're going to do this to your denture.
Yes.
Because you've just taken out clear to the back, and that's where your suction comes from. So, I mean, here, let me mold it up this way too. So I have it, you know, up like how it would go in the roof of your mouth.
Yes.
And you can't do this with a traditional acrylic denture.
No.
You cannot boil your immediate denture and try to get it to manipulate like this. It won't do this.
No, and the thing about it too, don't forget your traditional denture is made on a stone model. So you're never going to be able to get it to fit that intimately to the roof of your mouth. Like, your mouth is now the stone model. I mean, it's fitting directly. You're getting that prime fit, and that's what makes Easy Denture work so well and fit so well too. You're getting that prime fit. You're not getting an impression that lost everything to the undercuts that then gets poured into a stone model, and then someone's making something on a stone model for you to fit in your mouth. Like, this is it. Your mouth is the model. It's fitting directly to you.
Well, and they get that stone model from the impressions that your dentist took, and your that stone model and your immediate dentures from a traditional dentist are only going to be as good as how that dentist did your impressions.
100% true.
And if he's not doing, you know, if he has his secretary do his impressions because he's doing something else and she doesn't really know what she's doing, then your denture might not fit that great. It just might not. And that stone model they're going to mold your denture to, it's only as good as the impressions that were taken.
So you're right. I mean, you're at the mercy of a lot of hands in the process of making a denture. While with Easy Denture, you can make it fit as well as you can make it fit. I mean, you can do it you can do it up to 20 times. So
yeah, and this is kind of like taking your own impressions, even, you know, because you're forming this to your own mouth, so you know where it feels good, and you know where you need to push, and you know the feel of your mouth. I think I did pretty darn good there.
I agree.
Okay, so what about shipping? Do you ship outside of the United States?
We do. We do. So we ship internationally.
Okay.
And so wherever patients need Easy Denture, we will get it to them. So
Okay. And you'd ship to all the states. I had
yes,
somebody asking me that. You do ship around.
yes, all states, Canada.
This would be a perfect backup denture for somebody that, maybe had a permanent set of dentures or an immediate denture and they were worried about, oh my gosh, what happens if I break it? What am I going to do in the meantime? You'll have this on hand.
So, I mean, if you think about it, everyone that wears glasses, I feel like almost everyone has a backup pair of reading glasses, or they're cheaters or anything there for when they lose them, they misplace them, they have a set in the car and things like that. You got to think about people that travel, people that have, animals. Dentures get eaten by dogs.
I took a nap the other day and woke up without my top denture in.
Okay.
Didn't have any idea where it was, and I have 2 dogs, and I'm like,
and then all of a sudden the dog's like, oh my gosh, there's mommy's chew toy, and then they're chewing on it and the denture breaks. But dentures are something removable, or you drop a denture. Dentures are not good with being dropped, and then all of a sudden your denture's broken, and of course that's going to happen the day of your daughter's wedding or something, or or grandchild's wedding, and that's always how these things happen. Having a backup set of dentures is it should just be commonplace, and before it would just, you couldn't do that because dentures were so expensive.
right.
But now with Easy Denture, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to have a backup denture, and just for that peace of mind.
And you accept payments also.
Yes, we do have payment options on the website. Absolutely.
Yeah, so you don't have to pay in full at one time either. So what's the difference in between the small, medium size, and the large size?
All right, so for the sizing, what we do here is we have a small medium and a medium large. Our typical recommendations are the small medium is for females, and smaller males, and the medium large for males, and larger, taller females. It really comes down to your facial features for a lot of that, for the size discrepancy. But the look of the teeth, the shape and design of the teeth are the same. It's really just the size. It is bigger, and then the smaller is smaller, and it's just more for petite facial features or larger facial features, and that's where you'll notice the difference. The material will expand and collapse and fit regardless. So if you're on the cusp and be like, well, this is going to be too big, no, you just remove more material.
Yeah, you just saw us remove material, because I get a lot of comments from females that say I have a really, really small mouth and I don't think that will work for me. You just saw how we pulled material off of this other denture, so you could make it work.
I designed Easy Denture with a lot of excess material because I want you to have everything you need in that denture. You could remove as much as you need. You're not going to need more material than's on there. I have it with as much as you need on there, so you can just move and manipulate the material to where you need it, without a need for. So it may look too big initially, but once you heat it up, it's not going to be. That's not going to be the case. And you can remove as much material as you need.
This is the denture that you and I fit to my mouth last time.
And look at the size difference. That's the same size denture, but that's once it's fit in Michelle's mouth, that's what you see versus where it started.
And I also have a small mouth. I do. And I was able to fit this without pulling any. Oh, we did cut some of the material off the back.
Right off the back, yes.
We did that, but I was able to slide it in this way.
Yes.
So like the teeth in, that was a bad example, but I was able to move the teeth in and everything. So I was able to get it to work for me. So if you do a small, medium for any woman pretty much is good.
Yes.
I would say. And men, I've had some smaller men message me. And if you don't know for sure and want to get the large, just remove some of the material.
Agreed.
That's all you have to do.
Yes.
You've made it very easy for us.
I tried. When I initially was designing it, I had 3 sizes, and I was like, this is just going to add too much confusion too. Try to bring it down to the best 2 sizes that fits almost everybody, and it really does. It works that way.
Thank you, Dr. Otero, for joining me today and explaining some of the questions that people have been having on this. It's truly an easy denture. It really is.
Michelle, thanks for taking the time. And again, the reason why I designed Easy Denture is just to help more people smile, more people eat, and have access to care. Have access to something that they didn't have before. Whether it was due to cost or due to being able to get to a dentist or not having the time. And I think with Easy Denture, we took all those factors out of it, and just trying to get more smiles out there to more faces, and sharing that with people.
Okay, I do have to say this, but if somebody all they want for Christmas is their two front teeth,
there it is.
I had to say it. I had to say it. Or birthday presents. This.
Especially if you're a caregiver, if you're helping an aunt out, if you're helping somebody out, you have an opportunity to get dentures made at a dental office for thousands of dollars, or for Easy Denture, you can get it for such a low cost. I mean, it's just such a help.
It is. It is. Oh, well, thank you for being here, Dr. Atera.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you next time.
All right, thank you.